afternoon VC. I was going to say morning, but it's actually the afternoon. We seem to be having the typical UK summer because it's raining all the time. However, I've had a really eventful last couple of weeks. Seen a lot of live music and bought a bit of vinyl and a few CDs. So what I'm going to do, I'll run you through the CDs and the vinyl that I've bought or acquired in some cases, and then just talk a little bit about the live bands that we've seen in the last 2 weeks. Firstly, CDs. A couple of weeks ago we went to the the Acoustic Festival of Great Britain. Saw quite a few bands. It's only just down the road from us. One of them being Curved Air, and had a quick chat with Sonia Christina afterwards, who back in the day was quite a catch. Used to be married to now I can't remember his name. The drummer in the Police, Stuart Copeland. Anyway, I had a chat with her. Got a signature on their New Life CD, so that was really good. It was a small tent as well, but so back in the day, Curved Air were quite a big deal. Then one of the things that's interesting about festivals, you get a lot of obviously people with an interest in music, and it's not necessarily the bands that you see live that you can learn about. We actually took refuge in one of the marquees for a sit down, and the sound engineer was playing something through the mixing desk, and we just thought it sounded absolutely outstanding. So I went and asked him who it was, and it was this band called Younger Brother. Not well known. This album came out I think 2 years ago. It's called Vaccine, and the standout track on it is one called Shine. It blew us away, so we spent about 45 minutes listening to this album in there, having a few beers and a bit to eat, and then I went and bought it, and it took a while to arrive because there's not many about. In fact, somebody's asking £100 on eBay. I paid £7 for this, so don't go and pay £100. Then it was Father's Day last weekend. My son gave me this amongst a few other things. Stereophonics, Graffiti on the Train. Big Stereophonics fan. If you remember, I picked up one of their quite rare vinyl albums at a car boot for South 50p the other week. Well, this is the recent album, recently came out. Standout track so far for me is Indian Summer. So those are 3 CDs. Then vinyl. Now I don't know if you're aware that there's a progressive series of reissues of Nick Drake, and there's been a box set recently. Now I know some people like the box sets, Dean being one of them, Dean Jordan. Doesn't bother me at all. I would just rather wait till they issue the record that's in the box set, and that's what I did with Brighter Later. I think it was Crizzle Toft on Facebook spotted this on eBay for £11, so I dived on that. It's playing in the background, really nice textured cover, which the original was. It's by Back to Black, and they've even put in a liner the original, like a facsimile of the original liner printed onto the liner it comes with. So there was that. Then I bought this as an album that many people thought would never be made. It's the 13th studio album by Black Sabbath. It's a double album, and it's very, very you can tell it was made by the same band that made it. I think it's excellent, absolutely excellent, really doomy and proper heavy rock. Ozzy on top form. Now there was a little bit of a debate on Facebook about how unkind he'd been to Bill Ward because they didn't let him in and it was all down to money, etc. Well, the bottom line is none of these people know what they're talking about, because none of us do except the people involved. And for Bill Ward just to say he was presented with a contract that he couldn't sign without elaborating on it and doing anything else. There's a very good article in Classic Rock which, it's absolutely hilarious. Some quotes from Ozzy are fantastic, and he basically says that they didn't think that Bill Ward was fit enough or well enough to actually be a full contributor, but they did offer him a part, and it's a shame he's not accepted it, but I believe he's turned down opportunity to be with the band before. So my view is there's 2 sides of a story and we don't know what they are. So, but without Bill Ward, they've still come up with a fantastic album. Picked this up yesterday from Those Old Records in Rugeley, Dinah Kroll, quite nice. They're standards really. Too Marvellous for Words, Walk On By, I've listened to it through once, but it was in the afternoon, didn't feel quite right really, I wasn't in the mood for it, so I need to give that a good go. And then I bought this after seeing Jesse, Super Turbo Bluer, on YouTube showing this band called Radiation City. The album's called Animals and the Median, and he was raving about it really, and I could hear it in the background. I thought, oh, that sounds a bit Cardigans, Bic Runga, if you know her, New Zealander, and also a little bit Metronomy as well. So, but it's more complex than any of those things. And I've listened to it twice. I really do need to give it some more time. But what I did really like when I got it was, I don't know whether Jesse's was coloured vinyl, but look at the colour of this. And I'm not sure whether the camera gives it justice, but it's good enough to eat really. It looks like you could eat it. It's just like just a rich orange colour, but really nice. And the final bit of vinyl that I have got, and I had it on order some weeks actually, probably a couple of months maybe, is the latest offering from Fruits de Mer, and it was advertised a couple of months ago, and Keith Jones, who runs Fruits de Mer, has basically described it as krautrock, don't like the word really, influenced instrumentals, and it was going to be 4 albums, 2 doubles, 2 singles, and he was going to call them Strange Fish. I think that might be the name of the label actually, Strange Fish 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if you bought the whole lot there was a little bit of an encouragement. Now, you know I'm a long time fan of Fruits de Mer, or a big fan of Fruits de Mer. I did try and buy all the releases, and when it came it was housed in, if you bought all 4 you got it in a nice slip case, and what Keith did make it clear was that he was going to really cut costs down. Well, if this is cutting costs down, I wouldn't like to see it when he was actually pushing the boat out, because the artwork's excellent for each album. It's not really thick card or anything like that, but it doesn't need to be. I've got to read this properly and find out who's done the artwork, because it's all really quite interesting. That's Strange Fish 3, and this is Strange Fish 2, must be. Nice cover. There's 2 albums in each of those, and Strange Fish 1, and that's 4. And they are various artists like Craig Padilla, Sandelica. There's one on here called Julie's Haircut, which I think is probably the best name for the band I've ever heard. Well, it made me laugh anyway. Can't even find it now. It's here somewhere, it's got to be. Or did I make it up? Anyway, they're all instrumentals, they're all, whilst it was supposed to be krautrock, I can hear early Jean-Michel Jarre in there as well. In addition, there's the usual goodies that you get with a Fruits de Mer release. There are little bits of information, and then again it's become something of a tradition of Fruits de Mer to produce a single as well. So I've not listened to the single yet, so that's that. And also, I think if you ordered the full set before a certain date, you got the free CD, which is it's come in a quite unusual set. So it's a facsimile of a record, but probably I've listened to it all through a couple of times, and if you like krautrock, you have to like this. If I have a criticism of it, there's probably too much of it to absorb all at once. So you know, there's 6 records here and 12 sides of music. So it's one of those things I'm going to have to keep revisiting and revisiting over a number of months. There is actually a Fruits de Mer all-day concert, I'll do that later. Oh, this is the other thing as well, there's actually like a summary of all the artwork on the cover. So, really nice stuff. And not ridiculously expensive. I can't remember how much it was. I think I paid £45 direct, and I saw it in the shop yesterday for 50. Limited edition, I think there's probably 500 copies. So definitely recommended, but as I say, my one criticism is there's almost too much of it to absorb. So it's going to have to be something I listen to over a few months. So that's all the vinyl I've been acquiring. Now live music. We've been to 3 concerts in the last 2 weeks. Starting with a week last Tuesday, we went to see Neil Young at the NEC. Now I must have over 20 albums of Neil Young's, and I'm a big fan of his recorded work. And he's an artist who's on my bucket list. I'd never seen him. And I have to say, it was one of the most disappointing nights out I've ever had. It was so boring. He played a lot of the stuff off his recent album, which is fair enough, but it was so self-indulgent it was beyond belief. And I've read a number of reviews in newspapers and the forums kicking underneath, and lots of people, a good 50% are saying the same thing. Me and Harry were bored out of our minds, and at the risk of sounding like my dad, 20 minutes of feedback is not a song, Neil, and it's not entertaining. Now, of course, naturally, when you criticise Neil Young, you get all those rabid supporters of his who will hear no wrong, but it is a bit like the Emperor's New Clothes, because sometimes good artists do bad work, and this is just bad work. And they're all there pouncing on the people that dare to criticise by saying things like, well, if you wanted a greatest hits set, well, you shouldn't have gone. Well, that's not the point, Neil. I paid £45 for my ticket plus the service charge, so say 50 quid for the sake of argument. I paid to be entertained, not to see three indulgent older blokes playing with themselves for nearly 2 hours. It was just terrible. So I won't ever go and see Neil Young again unless he's made some effort to reassure people that he's not going to do that, because you have an obligation as a live musician. It's not like playing in your bedroom when you can do as you like. You should entertain people. I'm not saying you have to hear all the greatest hits package, but you know, don't be self-indulgent is the message. Then a week ago last Friday we went to see Blondie at an open air venue near where my mum lives, actually about an hour's drive from here. We'd been there before a few years ago. Natural Amphitheatre. Debbie Harry, 67, same age as Neil Young, and that was a greatest hits package, as you would expect, and it was just a nice, entertaining, pleasant evening. We saw a few people that we were at school with, and just had a great night out. But the highlight of things was last Thursday, that me, Harry, my wife, Julia, Mrs Staffsell, we went to see Bruce. I can't remember, it's the 11th or 12th, I must sit down and try and work it out time. I've seen him since Born in the USA tour in 1985, and it was at the Ricoh Arena. And we actually were late leaving Birmingham because Julie was late out of work, and then we got stuck on the M6. So we managed to park up and walk to the stadium through some back streets, and we could hear that he'd started. So we got standing seats and tickets, not in the stand, on the pitch at the Ricoh Arena, and we went to the nearest turnstile and they let us in, which was great, rather than making us walk right round. We walked up and over and down, and we came out right stage. I think it's stage. Well, it was to the Bruce's right. Yeah, that's right. We were to Bruce's right. Stage left. If you're looking at the stage, we were right level with the stage. We had fun, and I'll try and put a picture after this to show how close we were. And we got into the third song, My Love Will Not Let You Down. Bruce never fails to deliver. He's so fantastic. He was not in a great mood, been at work all day, difficult journey there, but within minutes, I've seen him a lot of times and he's getting better and better, and I don't know whether it's because he's got a picture of his own or vision of his own mortality, that he won't be able to do it forever, you know, with the death of Clarence and Danny Federici, but he just delivers. And the highlight for me was he played Born to Run, which is an album I bought when I was 17, 30 odd years ago. I remember getting it home after I'd been at work all day Saturday, putting it on the turntable. My mum was shouting me for tea because we all used to have to sit down together, and I was trying to desperately get to the end of Born to Thunder Road, the first track on there. But somehow it made the songs better to be in the context of the whole album. Anyway, we had a great night. We didn't meet up with Harry even though he got us the tickets because we were just so late. He was on the halfway line, and you'll see from the picture I put up how close we were. Anyway, we were sitting out having a few glasses of wine last night, a few beers, and saying, and it was after something Harry had said to me yesterday, you know, Bruce might not be doing this in 10 years, he might not be doing it in 5 years, or something might happen to us. One of my wife's good friends died recently, not much older than us. So, of course, first thing this morning, got on the internet. The only venue that's left in this country on the tour that has got availability for tickets is Cardiff, 23rd of July. That's what we'll be doing. So I bought 3 tickets, me, Julie and Harry, and we're going to go on a day trip. It's a 4-hour drive. we'll pick up Spiller's Records, hopefully, which badges itself the oldest record shop in the world. And we'll see Bruce yet again in July. Take the day off work and have a good day out. So that's what I've been doing. My message, VC, I'm sorry it's a bit longer than normal. It's a 15-minute one. I don't normally do that. I try and stick to 10 minutes. But anyway, here we go. If you can, one thing to do before you die is see Bruce Springsteen. One thing not to do ever, until he reforms his ways, is see Neil Young, because you're just wasting your money in my opinion. But I'm sure some people enjoyed it, and that's okay for them. So thanks for watching, VC, and take care.